3 a.m. live. Join us now is Alexis Anderson with cooperativeshares.com. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you on the show today. Let's start out just cooperativeshares.com. Really, what is this all about?
Yeah, so I developed cooperativeshares.com after working with so many co-ops in the general public and them not understanding that a co-op is a housing option. The general public just doesn't typically know that they can purchase a share in a co-op and that it's affordable, and yeah, that's kind of what stemmed from it.
So let's kind of explain to our viewers. Okay, so we're in one of the largest housing crises in American history. You know, America's 4.5 million homes behind, Kansas 50,000 homes behind, the city of Topeka 6,000 homes behind. So first off, what is a co-op? And secondly, how can that be part of the solution to the housing crisis?
So a housing cooperative is mostly similar to a condo, except you're not purchasing a unit itself. You're purchasing a share of the community as a whole, and then you collectively, as tenants or members that live there, you make all of the governing decisions for that facility, like a ownership would.
Kind of like an HOA, a home.
Yes, yeah. Similar, yes. You also vote on the board of directors. Purchasing into the co-op is, you know, you're buying the share and then you pay the monthly dues that cover the operating expenses for the co-op, but it is fairly affordable, which, you know, you talk about the housing crisis of houses being $600,000, $700,000. We have a beautiful co-op in the Northland that actually, you know, John and I went on a site visit and got to see it, and showed you one of the beautiful homes that is available there for under $150,000. That where this, you know, the houses on the other side of the street from that building are going for $600,000 and $700,000.
So what was so impressive to me when we got to visit the co-op was the level of community that people had developed that lived there together. Like, everybody knew everybody else, everybody worked together, they ate together, they did holidays together. Like, so many people, when their kids grow up, they move out of the house, they start losing that. They start losing that sense of community, they start losing that neighborly connection. Like, how have you developed that inside of these cooperatives?
Well, I think it's exactly that. The biggest benefit of cooperative housing, or one of the biggest benefits of cooperative housing, is having a community of people to support you, you know, through your hard times, through the good times. The committees that get together, they're all your neighbors. You're doing everything together. There's a finance committee, there's a marketing committee, an activities committee. So any interests that you have with your neighbors and the people that you cohabitate with, you get to do together, and then you get to make those decisions. And there's not just, you know, we went to a senior cooperative, the Village Cooperative Northland. It's one of my favorites, but there's also college cooperatives, there's multifamily cooperatives, there's a ton of different options out there that just aren't widely known. And that's also where cooperative shares came in, because there's nowhere designated for co-ops to market themselves or market their shares. You know, you can put them on certain platforms that are maybe made for apartments or made for homes, but they don't quite fit. And so that's where cooperative shares was developed.
So you're like a Zillow or a Realtor.com, but for cooperatives.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And what's the situation here in like the Topeka, Northeast Kansas area for cooperatives? Yeah,
there are multiple co-ops in Topeka. So in Lawrence, there's a few in Lawrence.
Ton in Kansas City.
Tons in Kansas City, and throughout the nation. A lot of people are familiar with them in New York, but we have, we work with co-ops in Minnesota, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Washington, Colorado, Texas. They're developing some in Texas. So they're vastly, growing the idea of a housing co-op.
And maybe explore a little bit more like the benefits of joining a co-op, like where compared to more of like traditional housing, I suppose.
We've kind of talked about a couple of them. So the affordability, the making, being able to make governing decisions for your community, the community itself, and being able to, walk outside if you want to. Like, you can be in your home, or you can go outside of your home in the clubhouse or the community space and have coffee every morning with your neighbors, or happy hour. Happy hour is really big in some of our co-ops. So those are really the big three. We also work with a lot of different vendors, just like any other community would. So educating them is another part of what Cooperative Shares does on, hey, when you're walking into these people's homes, you're walking into an ownership's home. You're not walking into, a tenant. Right. It's not an apartment. So we do education. We have blogs on there. Eventually we're going to publish some video education as well for the general public, but also boards that are wanting to learn more and be successful in governing their community, for vendors and knowing what priorities the co-ops have. So there truly is a lot of benefits. Your share appreciates year over year, just like a house would.
So the investment, it's a good investment.
It is, yeah, it is. Because exactly that, your share does appreciate.
So does that transfer? Can you sell your share?
You
or
can.
Is that part of what Cooperative Shares does?
Yes, so it's a listing platform for co-op shares, kind of like a home would be or apartment would be. You can go on there and see photos of the shares that are tied to the home. So you're not purchasing that home, but you're purchasing a share of the community. And you can see all of those that are available, and we have quite a few available online now.
Fantastic. So if someone wants to learn more, cooperativeshares.com and all the information you need there?
Yes.
Okay.
Cooperativeshares.com.
Awesome.
I'm excited to see what the future brings with this. Fantastic. Well, it's great what you're putting together here, Alexis.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And everyone, remember, again, to learn more, you can visit cooperativeshares.com. And coming